This bird is associated with the rains or with bringing change. So in all the ethnic groups that we have in Sub Saharan Africa, people believe that if they see the bird, then something is going to happen. In some instances, they believe that if they do see the birds, then it means that the rains are coming or you're going to have a change in weather. But in some cultures, they believe that if you see the bird, then something bad is going to happen to you. This cultural belief has been good for the birds in areas where the belief is more centered towards protecting the birds because of their rain-bringing abilities. But in some areas, because they are associated with bad things happening, then the birds do get killed when they are seen or if they drift into somebody's homestead. So we are working to change that cultural belief that the birds bring bad luck, and just to maintain the good beliefs that the birds are bringers of good things like the rains in our communities.
So this is one of our prototype nests. So you can see the nest up in the tree. That's made of isoboard and a safe resin. So it's super safe for the birds to nest in, but more importantly, that is providing the best sort of insulation. So you know, what we're finding is if we have these long heat waves, as we've had in the Lowveld over the last couple of years, the embryos in the eggs are actually failing to develop, and so we're losing an entire year of recruitment with the ones that still have a nest to breed. So what we're trying with these nests is to make sure that they're as insulated as possible so that those embryos are protected, but also that the female is safe from predation. And we estimate there's about 2,000 adults or about 400 groups left in the country. And so what we've initiated from this year is a national monitoring plan, so we can track where our conservation efforts are showing gains, but also so we can find problem areas where groups are starting to disappear, so we can pour all of our resources and really target them at where the problem areas are. Is it because there's been an outbreak of Newcastle's disease? Is there because suddenly there's a new market within the traditional medicine sphere, you know, so that we're able to respond quickly. It's a way of also doing disease surveillance, and we then have the sort of national oversight, not only of where to target our resources, but also hopefully with time to show that what we're doing is making a difference at a population level.
So before feeding, we will whistle with this red whistle, and the aim of that is to make the birds used to, when they've heard the whistle, they will then know that food will follow. So once we've released it, we can actually use it as a management tool to try and help us either home the birds into a certain area, or perhaps if they need some medical help, then it's also easier because they will already know that the whistle equates to food. We rear for reintroduction, so we have a very hands-off approach where we try our best to make sure that the bird is looked after very well, it receives all the care and attention it needs, but it also remains that wildness that makes it good for putting back out in the wild.
Although the species faces a huge number of threats, we do feel that there's hope, because within their life history strategy, there's actually a lot of things that are going well for them, despite the fact that they live so long and breed so slowly. They're incredibly opportunistic. They're not specialist feeders, so within any sort of landscape like this, as long as there's enough small animals for them to hunt and catch, they don't really mind which ones those are, as long as there's enough, and certainly in these kind of landscapes there is. So from a foraging point of view, they're very, very adaptable. In terms of habitat, they're really not fussed if it's not pristine savannah or grassland. They've been living with people for millennia, and a normal ground hornbill sighting is seeing them moving through homesteads and in amongst cattle.